Welcome, everybody, to The Early Edge. I am your counselor of cash, the coach on assignment traveling. He is high in the sky right now, but don't worry. He'll be back with all of us tomorrow. Before we get to look forward, we have to look back. So let's look at what we did on Sunday. Very much a hit or miss day for us. We hit and then we missed. A middling day, to say the least, but we had been hot the 3 or 4 days prior to that. So let's see if we can get hot again today. But before we introduce the stars of the show, let's take a look at what's going on with HQ later today. We have got a ton of content, as always, on HQ. M Squared, Mike McClure on at 1:30. The Maestro, Larry Hartstein, on at 3. And then we get McClure back again at 6. And AB and Larry, the Maestro, at 8 o'clock again. It is going to be the Early Edge packed in on CBS Sports HQ. So make sure you tune into that. But let's get started with the Early Edge right now. Let's bring in the stars of the show. We have, interestingly, not a packed Monday from a schedule standpoint. We only have 6 baseball games, but we've got a lot of bets and we've got some soccer too. Oh, hello, Buckets. Let's start, though, with some Pick the Prop. Let's go to some home run props and see what we can find. Larry, I'm going to start with you. We got Matt Olson at plus 265, Shohei Ohtani at plus 320, and Ellie De La Cruz. A new star is born, right? Plus 450. Where are you going on this one?
Well, Matt Olson had a pretty good weekend against the Reds. 4 home runs. He has 7 homers in his last 9. He's coming home to Atlanta, facing Sonny Gray, who's been, unhittable to start the season, but a little bit more vulnerable the last month or so. The ERA close to 4, has given up a couple of homers in his last 4 starts, including Justin Turner went deep against him last time. The guy's got 25 homers. He's tied with Ohtani for the major league lead. I know the payout is not that great, but I got to stick with Matt Olson. It's pretty hot and humid here in Atlanta.
All right. I like it. And Proppy, for the record, Maestro and Proppy were 73 days away from NFL kickoff. So I know we're all excited about that. That seems like around the corner to me. I don't know about you, Proppy, but first we got to take care of some baseball. And we got a lot of baseball to take care of the rest of the way. We're not even at the midway point. We're close. But who do you like in this matchup? We got, again, Matt Olson, Shohei, and Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, fired up for NFL season, Sia. But yeah, I'm going to take a shot at the 21-year-old phenom here. I think there might be a lot of runs scored in this game. Hint, hint, hint. But yeah, I love Ellie De La Cruz. Been absolutely phenomenal switch hitter facing Cole Irvin with an ERA up over 7 runs this season. Give me Ellie De La Cruz. Love the price point as well.
Absolutely. I think this is actually going to be the most exciting game on the slate today. So I think we're going to have some picks related to this Reds-Orioles game later. Buckets, you know what? I'm going to kick it to you on this one because I got to be honest, I don't really want to. But I know Coach often kicks it to you with home run props, and I guess you've been pretty good. So I reluctantly give you the floor. Which one of these 3 guys is going to hit a home run today?
Well, see, I appreciate that. And honestly, it makes sense that without Coach here, I'm kind of the biggest star on the show. And my pick is probably the best one, too. So let's go ahead and cash another, I believe they say, go yard pick here. And everybody should know that by now I refuse to play on the board. See, I don't care what 3 are up there. I'm not going to play any of the 3 that are up there. So we're going to go off the board once again. And we're going to go to that matchup between the Chicago White Sox and the LA Angels. But we're not going with Shohei Ohtani. We're going with Luis Robert Jr. Anytime to go the yard. Sorry, the soccer kicking in there just a little bit there. But he's currently priced at plus 375. 2 homers in his last game, 5 in his last 7 days. Let's do it, baby.
Guys, wow. I was sure he was going to go with Jorge Soler, even though the Marlins aren't playing today.
And you know what? To his credit, Soler would have somehow managed to hit a home run in one of the active games today. I respect you going off the board. Usually when you do Buckets, it ends up coming through. So don't mind the Roberts play at all. That's going to be an interesting game as well. Well, listen, speaking of interesting, we got to get to our expert picks. But before we do that, let's take a break and hear a word from our partners.
Get breaking news.
Big news coming out of the NFL today.
Highlights and instant reactions.
The largest final round comeback in Ford championship history. We're down to the final 4.
I just want to take time to analyze greatness.
Talk winners and losers with a guy who's already a big winner.
CBS Sports HQ. It's all sports all day long.
And we are back. And everybody, hit the like button if you would. And I got to say, it's Monday. And usually I like to start off Mondays, whether it's on Twitter or on this show, with something positive. So everybody in the chat, type, I'm going to have a great week this week. And I want you to use the I'm contraction, because if you just say today's going to be a great day, you're not taking ownership of the day. So somebody or everybody put something, hit the like button, but put something positive in there. Like, I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to have a great week. Let's do something like that. And let's take some ownership of how our day is going to go. Well, I'll take some ownership of how my day is going to go. I'm going to lead off, guys, if you don't mind. I'll get my pick out of the way. It's a first five pick, but it's a little unorthodox because I'm going with the total here, and I'm not going with my classic side play when it comes to first five. It's the White Sox. It's the Angels. It's the last game of the slate tonight around 9 o'clock, I believe. And I'm taking the under of 4.5 because Detmers has been really good for the Angels, and Dylan Cease appears to be back for the Chicago White Sox. Over each of their last 3 games, they have been absolutely dealing, each of them averaging 8 strikeouts or more in their last 3 games. And on top of that, it's against really good competition. The Dodgers, let's see, it was the Braves, I believe, the Dodgers and the Braves for each of them. And then they've played the Marlins and the Cubs as well. But they've been going against really, really good teams, and they've been dealing against those good teams. So I like the under here, 4.5. Keep in mind, both of these teams travel. The White Sox traveling to the Angels and the Angels traveling from Colorado. I just don't see a lot of runs, and I see some potential with some lineup changes there as well. So I'm going to take, it's boring, but I'm going to take the White Sox and the Angels first 5 under 4.5. That's my play, folks. But let's change it up a little bit. Let's go to, oh, by the way, it was the Dodgers and the Rangers. It was not the Dodgers and the Braves. So these two guys have both in their last 3 starts faced the Dodgers and the Braves, both of them. And they have dealt and limited hits and runs and gotten a ton of strikeouts each. So pretty impressive stuff against really, really solid competition. Let's take a quick break from baseball, though. Buckets, I got to hear your soccer pick.
Let's do it. Sia, I want to start this pick off by saying that I am going to have a great week this week. And so are Belgrano de Cordoba. I am going to the Argentinian top flight in a beautiful matchup between Belgrano de Cordoba and CA Bonfield for my pick here. And we're doing this because Belgrano is one of these clubs that when they play at home, they're just a little bit of a different monster than we're used to seeing. We're going to be going with Belgrano on the draw no bet line here, which is currently priced at minus 135. A little bit of juice, but it's worth the squeeze, and here's why. While neither team has been great this season, and both sides are currently averaging less than 1 goal scored a game, Belgrano de Cordoba are just one of these teams that are great at home, and their opponent, CA Bonfield, are one of these teams that are absolutely terrible on the road. Belgrano has won 4 of their last 5 games when playing at home, and have scored in each of their last 6 games at home. Meanwhile, Bonfield have only a single road victory this season, just 1 win in their last 10 road matches here, and they're currently second to last on the table. This is a bit of a mismatch. I do like Belgrano to win this outright, but I always love having my safety net there, especially at minus 135. Do not expect goals in this game, though. I'm looking at a 1-0, 2-0 kind of victory for the hosts.
All right. I read that tagline. I read, let's see, Belgrano DNB. And I thought it was a typo from Jake. I thought it was Dave Matthews Band, DMB. Listen, I'm not super familiar with soccer, but draw no bet. Okay, I like that bet. It's not Dave Matthews Band after all, but we are just ants marching. And we wake up in the morning to hear a message from our partners. And we're back. This is the early edge. I just referenced Dave Matthews Band. Maybe like 30% of you got that reference. I hope you did. Proppy, I mentioned how I think today we have a really exciting game. And I got to say, before you give out this pick, because it pertains to the Reds-Orioles game, which is going to kick off this 6-game slate, I almost had a play here. And it was, and I'd love your opinion on this. And I want you to give out your pick first, mind you. I was going to go with the Reds first 5 plus a half at minus, I believe it was minus 120. The reason I didn't is because I thought there was so much volatility with both of these pitchers. I thought both of them could get roughed up so much that I didn't think it was really the right play for me. But what is the right play? It looks like it's what you have. So talk to us about it.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to attack the total in this game. 2 of the hottest offenses in all of Major League Baseball. We're talking about the Orioles. We're talking about the Reds at Camden Yards. A ton of humidity here. I'm going to go over 9.5 runs. This Reds team has been absolutely dynamic. We know about the long win streak. Unfortunately, that ended, but the offense has just been absolutely phenomenal. Then we've got the Orioles, in my opinion, one of the best lineups 1 through 9 in the league. We have a pitching matchup featuring a combined ERA up near 13 runs. We've got Brandon Williamson on the mound for Cincinnati, has been one of the worst starters in baseball this year. And then we've got Cole Irvin with an ERA approaching 8 runs as well. Both of these are lefties as well. Both of these offenses rank in the top 5 in nearly every single offensive metric when it comes against opposing lefties. The Reds have been particularly excellent against lefties over this last month or so as well. So I thought the over was a great play here. 9.5 runs. I expected it to be double digits, honestly. And as far as the first 5 is concerned, Sia, I think there is just so much volatility in this matchup. I wouldn't surprise me if either of these teams or even both of these teams potentially had double digits in the first 5. So I just think the over is the way to go here.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think this is one of those games where you could have one of these two pitchers getting lit up for 2, 3, 4 runs just in a single half inning. So I ended up staying away from it. I really like this over 9.5. Let me ask you, before we get to Maestro's picks, Proppy, I know you don't go in on first 5s necessarily, but would this be, without looking at the number, which I believe is 5, is that something you would be interested in from a first 5 standpoint, knowing that these two pitchers are pretty bad and they're likely to get lit up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first 5 is a great look, especially with these starting pitchers. Both bullpens are shaky as well, which is why I like the game long total. But I think the first 5 over is a good look as well.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Maestro, it's now on you, and you're a busy man today. We know where you're going to be on HQ in the afternoon, in the evening with AB, which I'm sure he's going to be talking some College World Series, among other things. But you have a baseball bet today as well. Is it in the same game?
It is, and this is, the most exciting game on the slate. Basically, whoever the Reds are playing is going to be the most exciting game because they are just an offensive juggernaut. Even though they lost those last 2 to the Braves, 7-6, they're averaging 7.5 runs per game over their last 8. They're just so deep. The position players are so exciting, and I had to figure out who I'm going to target, and I'm going to target Spencer Steer. This is a juicy prop, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Since he came up last year, he has just loved facing left-handed pitching. The OPS over 900 against left-handed pitching, but it's around 740 against right-handed. Gets to face Cole Irvin with the 7.71 ERA. And what I just love about this, he comes in hot, 3 for 8 the last 2 days, a homer, 3 RBIs, a walk, a double. He's in the middle of a very exciting offense, and this is the kind of prop where you can get there a lot of different ways. That's why it's juicy. But we've hit a lot of these lately. I'm up 4.5 units on my MLB props, and I want to keep rolling. So let's play Spencer Steer over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
If I could channel my inner coach here, I would say, do you want to do that work? Impressive stuff. Honestly, I'm going to be on all these bets, even the Dave Matthews bet from Bucket. I think these are all really slick bets on a short slate. Sometimes on a shorter slate, you kind of have to dig and find something. But I think these are all picks we're relatively confident in, notwithstanding the shorter slate. So absolutely love it. And I got to say, I think that's all the damage we can do. I know it's a shorter show, but listen, it's a shorter slate too. It's just one of those things. We don't want to take up time of yours that we don't need to unnecessarily take. So let's bring up the recap screen really quick. We've got the Maestro on Spencer Steer over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -155. We've got me, Sia, the Counselor of Cash, White Sox, Angels, first 5 under 4.5 at -118. We've got Proppy, Reds, Orioles over 9.5 at -115. That's going to be an exciting game. 2 of our bets are in that game. So let's all tune in and be active on Twitter for that one. And then Buckets, C.A. Belgrano, Dave Matthews Band at -135. No, of course, that's DNB, draw, no bet. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, by the way, for Early Edge in 5, because I know that AB is going to be on Early Edge in 5, and I know he's going to have another College World Series bet. He has been absolutely dominant. This whole SportsLine team has been absolutely dominant in the College World Series betting. He'll have something on Early Edge in 5, but he's going to be on HQ with the Maestro as well. So is Mike McClure. We're going to have a lot of exciting things later on in the day. EE in 5, CBS Sports HQ. Make sure you tune into both of those. But I got to tell you, that's all the damage we can do today. So you know what we do next, right? You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight, it's over here, to the pay window. for Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, for Proppy, for the Maestro, and for my rival, my nemesis, Buckets. I am the Counselor of Cash, and this is The Early Edge.